Hey, what's up guys? My name is Anshul and welcome back to another video on this channel. Today in this video, I want to talk about this Tesla Model Y, and it has been about 45 days that I have been commuting on this car as my daily driver. And yes, this is one of the cars that is my first EVs, and I took the delivery of my car 45 days ago. There is another video, I'll link it down to this video over here, but yes, this one over here is one of my first EVs, and this is a rear wheel drive version. And I know that you might have got a lot of questions about the same, that why did not I get the version that is the all wheel drive and how is this one performing. So all those questions I will answer in this video. And yes, I would not talk a lot about design, but I want to mention one thing over here. If you're looking to buy a new EV, and that is the Tesla Model Y, and if you have question that why did not I go for the Tesla Model 3, the new Highland variant, or why did not I wait for the new Tesla, that variant over here, when it will be launched, it will be way too pricier than what I got this car over here. Now one thing, when I got this car over here, the price was like $58,000 plus taxes. But now if you're in Canada and if you're planning to buy a new Tesla Model Y, it is priced at just 54,000 Canadian dollars. And also if you live in somewhere like Quebec, I think that the incentives are even more. This car over here in Quebec is having about 12,000 of total incentives, and that is just insane. So yes, this is the right time to buy the Tesla Model Y and not the Tesla Model 3 Highland, or not to wait for the Tesla Model Y, the 2025 edition. So if you're planning to buy right now, this is the right choice, and I will tell you that what my experience is there with this car over here. So let us just get inside and talk a lot about the things that I just felt about when using this car over here. Okay, so now we are in the car, and the number one thing that I want to talk about here is that a rather odd one, and I want to talk about the decision that Tesla made on their newer models to not include the gear shifter on the steering wheel of the car. And I'm saying this with my experience of using this car for about 45 days. The newer Model X, the Model S, and the Model 3, the refreshed version does not have this gear shifter on the steering wheel, but only this Tesla Model Y has got the gear shifter still on the steering wheel. And I can say you one thing, it is not the best thing to have on the car. There are certain times you say that you are trying to cross an orange line, and again you are on 60 km per hour or 70 km per hour, but at the same time you see that there is another car who is trying to take a left turn and who is not slowing down. So you see it from the far, you try to bring down the speed of your car, but you cross that white light over there and you want to reverse down a bit, and you see that there is no car in the back of you. You maintain enough distance, and again you are on the reverse position, not on the drive mode. And again you have got a very small representation of parking mode or drive mode or reverse mode on the screen. It is not big enough to visually see that what mode you are on, or something that does not strike you right away that okay, you are not in the driving mode. And this is the thing that is fixed on the Model X, the Model S, and the Model 3. You have got a very big sidebar, and it is very hard to not notice that you are in reverse mode or you are in a drive mode. It happened to me once that I was not in the drive mode and I was still in the reverse mode, and there was a car in the back of me. I was lucky enough to maintain a big distance between that car, and I was able to prevent that accident over there. But yes, this is something that is very concerning. So that is the number one thing that I just experience about this car over here. Now the next thing that I want to talk about here is that how does this car drive. Now again, I came from a gas car and I had a Mazda CX-5 2022 model before, and it was a turbo edition, and that was one of the best cars that I had driven in my life. It was a mini crossover, but again, this one over here is a faster car. I think it drives very well, but you just do not feel that punch, that gas coming out of this car when you use this Tesla Model Y. But otherwise, it is a very quick car, and it is very hard sometimes to control the speed on this one. This one over here is a very stable car to drive. Now, I want to briefly tell about a few things that I have over here, a few minor upgrades that I did. The number one is this one over here. So if you can see closely, my steering wheel has got some carbon fiber caps from Temu, and this is something that I just got for like $8-9, and I think it just improves the way that the steering wheel looks over here. Again, the second upgrade that I did on this car is that I have got some mats for this wireless charging pad. That is one of the very good ones that I got from Temu as well, and it has also got some carbon fiber texture over here, and it is not the carbon fiber color, but I just matched the gray theme everywhere. You can see these cup holders are in gray as well, and so is this cover that is around my display on this Tesla car, and also the one that is on the back mirror over here. The other thing that I just upgraded on this car is this Taptis mats. These are the 3D mats, and these are the ones that I just love. It is very easy to clean. I cleaned them a couple of times because again it is winters in Canada. You just come out of snow every day, and it is very easy to just destroy any kind of mats that you have got on the car. But this one over here is holding really well, and I just love this car over here. Another thing that I put on my car is this magnetic mount, and again this is something that I just got for like $10-12 on Temu, and it is, I would say, a good one. It just does not scratch anything on the car. There is no tape that you put on the back of it that goes on back of this screen over here. So this is one of the good things that I got on this car. Another update that I did on this car was that on the back rear seat where you have got this AC vent over here, I got a cover for that as well. That costed me around $2 to $3 as well. Again, everything that I got on this car was from Temu and a very cheap thing. And again, still it just works out very well for me. It is not a bad quality, it is of good quality. Also, I got those covers on the back of the rear seat that just protects the rear seat of the car from the back from getting scratched when you put any luggage on the back of this car in the cargo front. And that is another thing that I just liked about this one over here. You have got a lot of accessories to just combine on this Tesla Model Y. Now, another question that a lot of people might have is that how is this rear wheel drive version doing for me? And again, I do not drive a very long distance every day, but even if you do, and if you own a Tesla, I think it is very easy thing to find a supercharger near you. It takes about 10 to 20 minutes, and it gives you about 20 to 30% of charge. And if you are just preheating the battery, I think it will charge even more faster, and you will get an even faster charge on your car, and it is not a bad thing by any means. Now, I have this rear wheel drive version. I drove this car about 1200 kilometers, and yes, I do not have any kind of charging solution at my home, and that is one thing that I wanted to share over here. So say you want to buy an electric car just to save some money on here, and if you do not have an apartment or a house of your own where you can install your own mobile charger that comes from the Tesla itself, and what would be the cost that you would pay for while driving this car? Honestly, I drove this car about again 1200 kilometers, and I have saved about just $15 a month in comparison to what I drive on this gas car. Now, this is due to because of the high cost of the charging, the supercharging that I get near me. But there are a few other places where the charging is not very expensive, and maybe certain times of the day. I think mostly between 12 a.m. in the morning to, I would say, 4 a.m. in the morning, the pricing is like 20 cents at a few places near me. But otherwise, I live near the Fairview Mall, and that one over here is like 48 cents per kilowatt hour, and I think that is a bit more expensive than the gas thing. If you just compare, okay, if you save just $15 a month, and what it would be in 10 months, just $150, what would be in 10 years? So if you just calculate, it is not giving you a more of incentive of owning an EV versus what you would have in a gas car if you do not own your own house. Definitely, if you own your own house, I think it would be very cheap to drive this Tesla Model Y rather than going out for a supercharge. But again, you can just do a mix of supercharge and charging this thing at your home. If you're someone who has got a version of this car where just you do not have to pay anything for the supercharging, I think it is the best thing for you. And even if you live nearby to some location where the charging cost is not as much at the times of the entire day, where the cost to charge this car is like 28 cents per kilowatt hour at the times of the day where it is not peak, say before 2 p.m. in the day, or maybe if it is in early morning like 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning, I would be one of those people who would just go and pop up there by 12 a.m. in the morning, charge it for 40 minutes, and come back home. That would be costing like 20 cents per kilowatt hour. But unfortunately, I do not have it in my region, and I do not want to drive like 12 kilometers from here just to charge my car and come back in that time of the night. So that is something that I just did not want. But here you go. It is not a very cheap car in comparison to the gas cars, because first, those cars does not cost as much as this Tesla Model Y, and the second, you are not saving a lot if you do not have your own home when you buy a Tesla Model Y. But again, if you're into sports car and if you like speed, then yes, definitely, and again, if you do not want to buy something like a sports car like a Dodge Challenger or a Charger, then this one over here would save you a lot of money. It is ample fast as well. So yes, definitely this one over here. Now, one another thing that I just noticed on this car is the regenerative braking, and something that I just loved about this car. I have not used the brake on this cars since I have just owned this one. It is just a very good car. You just take out your foot from the pedal and it just stops automatically. It is just one of the best features, I would say, that I love on this car. Now, another few things that I want to mention over here is that the charging on this car, the wireless pad, it just does not charge every time. You have to just fiddle around here and there, and sometimes it is just a hit or miss when you are charging a phone on this car. Now, another thing that I just want to mention over here, and that is very important, is this Tesla maps over here. And again, it is good, but not good to the points where I would say it is better than Waze or the Google Maps or the Apple Maps. And I just miss the functionality to have the Apple Maps over here. And when I told you that I've got this mobile car holder on this Tesla Model Y, that was very prominent that I'm using Apple Maps or the Google Maps with this car over here. The reason is that there is no live indication if there is a camera on front of you, that is a speed camera or it is a red light camera, and so much so. And again, there is no option in here to avoid highways. Sometimes it is a lot of traffic on the highways, and there are some peak times when you just do not want to be on a highway, and those times I just want to drive through the inner parts of the city, and I'm not able to with this Tesla maps over here. So this is something that is very bad. And because it is a very advanced computer system, I think it is very easy to integrate the wireless Apple Play or the wireless Android Play on this touchscreen over here. But for some reason, they just do not do that. Apart from that, one thing that I just loved on this one is the sanitary mode. And if you are just someone who are very concerned about car getting stolen, if it is parked outside, getting some scratches or something, this one over here is a very handy feature. It is just like a live camera that you can see from anywhere on the phone, because this is something that is just connected to your phone application on your Tesla application on the phone. It is very easy to access the cameras on this car from anywhere. Even if the sanitary mode was off and you just came out of the car and you just forgot to turn it on, you can do it from anywhere. Even if you are just far away from the location, you just turn on the sanitary mode and you can see everything about that is around your car, the front, the back, the inside, and everything. That is very good. And one another thing that is, I think, something that is very common on YouTube, that is preheating on this car. Again, if it is very cold outside, you can preheat your car from your home, and that is something that I just loved about this car as well. The keyless thing is also one thing that I just love, but sometimes I have noticed that even if my phone is nearby my car, it just fails to open. I have to put it on airplane mode and take it off again and again before the car recognizes that my phone is nearby. This happened to me a lot of times, even on my Android phone as well, and even on this iPhone. So I have two of the keyless entries on two of my phones that I've got, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra and this iPhone 15 Pro Max. I did not try with the Google Pixel 8 Pro, but as of filming my video, I think that this is a good idea to do. Otherwise, let's just get out of the car and see a few more things over here. One thing that I just forgot to mention over here is that I have got these caps for the Tesla Model Y. These are the carbon fiber ones. I have got the ones that are 3D printed on the front, and the back ones are just some plain old stickers. And that is something that I just love about this one. A lot of accessories that you can put on this car. Now, let me open this trunk over here, and here we go. Something that I just love. Now, as you can see that you have got a lot of space, a lot of cargo in this car, and even though this is a smaller car than my previous SUV, it is not a very big one in the terms of the height or something that is a big one in the terms of the footprint, but this one over here is having more cargo space, and there is just a ton of storage below this on the sides, and even you have got a large front on this one over here. Now, one another thing that I just want to mention over here is that whenever you are picking your Tesla Model Y, just make sure that your car does not have got any kind of imperfections, because when I got mine, I got a lot of imperfections on the car. The paint was not very good. There were dust particles under the paint. There were a lot of points where the paint was very uneven, and also there was a big scratch on the wooden panel of my car just below where we have the silver trim. I got it replaced, but the newer panel, the color does not match with the one on the side panels of my car. So this is something that you need to notice before accepting your delivery for the Tesla Model Y. Okay, a few other things that I wanted to mention about this car. The back space of this car where the passengers sit, it is just way much more cozy. I just love this glass tint on the top of this car. It is just amazing. The legroom is, I think, better than any car that I have ever sat in. Again, there are some pockets on the back of this seats. That is a good thing. I'm not too sure if the other variants of the Tesla Model Y, the older one, had that thing or no. Again, there are a few speakers over there in the back. There is an armrest in the back of the seats where it is a child seat. And again, this is one of the best cars I think that I have seen in the terms of the space that we have got on the back of this car. So this is just something that is amazing. Also, you have got these small latches over here along with these lights, something that I just noticed over here. Now, one thing that is very odd about this car is that whenever you just come out of this car or you just step into this car, you have to just bang the door very hard. It is harder than anything that I've ever seen. You just need to really bang the door in so that it shut locks and the windows goes up. And that was all that I wanted to talk about in this video. I think that this Tesla Model Y is a really good car and a really good purchase in the year 2024. And even if you just compare it against the newer Tesla Model 3, I think this one over here is still an upgrade because of a lot of boot space, a lot of space in the front and in the back. And this is something that is just amazing. I think even the facelift of the Tesla Model Y, because it would be an expensive car, I would still recommend you to buy this one over here, knowing that the facelift is a very near one in my opinion. But over here you will get about $12,000 of incentive if you're in Quebec, and even if you are in Ontario, I think that the incentives are really good in my opinion. And that was something that was the main point of making this video. I think the facelift is something that is not needed to be paid for, because that would be a more expensive car. And again, if you compare it with something like Mercedes or even the Mustang, the Mach E version of that Mustang car, I think that one over there is a good car in my opinion. But again, if we just go higher the range on this car, it would be a way more expensive car than even the Tesla Model Y, the dual motor variant. And at that point, I would suggest you to buy the dual motor variant of this car rather than buying the Mustang GT. So that was all about this video. My name is Anshul. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.